Hi, traders, and welcome to the PL Capital Weekly Market Review. I'm your host, Paul. This is where I use wave analysis to look at the charts to see what could be the next wave in the market. So we're going to look at the S&P, the Nasdaq, and some select stocks. And as usual, we'll start off with the upcoming economic calendar. So let's get to it. All right. This week we'll be having some key data points coming out that will definitely be moving the market around. Monday, you got ISM manufacturing. Tuesday, you got JOLTS job openings. You also have some other mid-sized data, construction spending, manufacturing new orders and prices. Tuesday, you got the factory orders. So all in all, it'll be impactful and give a indication on the health of the economy. Got Wednesday, you got composite and services PMI. Got ISM services PMI. Thursday, challenger job cuts. I don't think that matters a whole lot. But Friday will be I think the big one, non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate. So consensus right now is that we stay at 3.9 for unemployment, and non-farm payrolls grows slightly from 175 to 180. So I think if all that stays in line, then kind of much to do about nothing. If this 3.9 starts to grow, then I think there's going to be more feeling that the Fed will be cutting rates sooner than maybe previously thought. So Friday, I think, will be a big day. And anything else? No, that was it. Those will be the big ones. All right, let's get on to the chart. And we're going to start off with the S&P. And there's a couple of ways to count this. So this is the 4-hour chart of the futures. And I've always seen this move off of the October low as just like an A, a B, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ending diagonal. And I thought that was the A wave. Made this nice ABC for the B wave. And so I'm thinking that we're coming up for the C wave. And I'm looking for 5 waves. And it looks like to me like they're doing a diagonal. So 1, 2, 3, that was 1, that was 2. Actually, yeah, it's actually over here. 1, 2, and then an ending diagonal for the third wave. And so now we're in the fourth wave, but this coming down to me looks like another diagonal. So you had like little 3-wave move there, 3 there, 3 down to here, and then there was that quick spike up when PCE came out. So I think this is 1, that's 2, came down for 3, really quick 4, and then just sold off super aggressively. Felt like no end in that selling. And then just a massive reversal in the market. I haven't seen one of those in quite some time. Massive reversal. I mean, we're down. Well, on the Nasdaq, I know came down 300 and then went up like 2 something into the close of that final hour was pretty crazy. But anyway, I see this as 5 ways. Now, I guess it could be that was W, X, Y, X, Z, and that's the 4. But because it's diagonal, I'm not expecting a W, X, Y. I'm looking for 3 ways. So I think all of this was just a leading diagonal. Now, this wasn't expecting this strong of a bounce here. So, I mean, I guess it could just correct, go back up, give you like a 3-wave correction, and then one more down before they go up for the 5th wave. or maybe I just got this portion. This looks very much like 3 and 3. Maybe I just miscounted here. Maybe this is 5 waves and not 3. The 3, the 4, and the 5. So either way, I'm still thinking that we go and break the high in the market on both the S&P and then when we look at the Nasdaq, same thing. So because I'm looking for a 3-wave move, so that would all be ABC for A, ABC for B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ending diagonal for the C wave, and that would complete this massive move off of the October 22 low. So and I can't look on this chart going back because the data just doesn't go back that far. But this would be ending that big massive diagonal. So I'm looking for up. I think there's one more low, or at least a correction and a drop. I guess it doesn't have to create a new low, but probably will get pretty darn close. And that'll be the 4, and then we're going up for the 5. But like I said, I could maybe, just because of the buying that happened in the last hour, maybe that's 5 waves down, and I was in ABC, and that completed the 4. So, but anyway, long story short, I'm only looking for buy setups for the 5, for the 5th wave. But I think you got to be in it from down here. Like, if you're buying here, like come Monday, and you're playing for, because as soon as they break this 53.68 at any moment, that big correction can start. Now this 5th wave, I mean, the target is actually up above, closer to 5,400. So, I mean, there still could be plenty of room to go, but you just never know. I mean, they could break it by just a couple points and then reverse. So if they do come back down, then I think that's a really good place to look for the buy setup and then play for that 5th wave. But buying up here where they closed, you might not be playing for a whole lot. So got to be careful on that. But anyway, I'm only looking still for one more up for the 5th wave. And the same thing, let me just go back. The only other way that I could see, what am I doing? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, that's really the only pattern that I see is 5-way. I was thinking that they might be doing like this was 1, but no, I don't think so. This didn't drop far enough. So now cancel that. I'm just looking for one more wave up for the 5th wave. That's my base case. And the Nasdaq is like the exact same pattern. It's a diagonal. So you had a 1, a 2, and so far we got 3. I will say that there is the possibility, because I'm looking for 3 waves, and we had like an A, a B, and a C, and then we had that A, B, C down. And there are 3 ways, 1, 2, and 3. I guess that there's a possibility, I don't think so, that the top is already in 19,023, because that is, these 3 waves then would just be W, X, Y. I'm not, I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm thinking that this 3 waves was A, this is B, and now we need a C wave, and it would have to be 5 waves. So that's where I'm coming from. So go back down to 4 hour. So that's why I think that we've got one more up, and that's going to complete the C wave of this 5th wave. Wait, no, I didn't say that right. We got one more up. This 5th wave will complete the C wave. Sorry, that was B, and this will be up for C. So Yeah, but just like the S&P, I think there's one more up, but same thing, drilling down here. I got this one labeled, I see this as a five-wave move because I had a leading diagonal to here, correction, and then ending diagonal. So that was a three-wave move down for the three, really quick up for four, and then down for five. So it looks impulsive, or it's a diagonal, but I don't think this is a WXYXZ. So I think this is a five-wave move. And so that's why I think the correction will happen into this, they've already reached it, obviously. But coming into here, they've already got to the 18632. So I could see it correcting down, actually, going back up, maybe up to 18724. But still one more down, and then that would be the four, and then they would come back up. And so, next week we got, some really key data points that I think we could get some whipsawing action going on, up, down, and then one more drop down before they launch it up for the final time. So that's where that's how I see those two indexes. All right, so let's look at a few of the individual stocks. Going to start with AMD that we've been looking at. I got to go out to a 4-hour on this. So this one, like I've been saying, I wanted to correct into this zone, and it already tapped that. And it looks to me like it was just a little quick WXY. So I don't know that this is all the correction for AMD, especially the way they're going up. So I go down to a 1 hour. On this one, I see an impulse up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then this is just ugly. And so I'm thinking this is a triangle. It's the only, because this is just, they came down, then they made a new high, then they made a new lower low, then they made another high. And so I think this is a triangle. I was just expecting that the E wave, now the E wave is always, it can overshoot, could like really drop, down like below this AC trend line. This one they might have undercut it. So the E might actually already be in, especially given how strong the whole market just reversed late today. So, if they would have came down below that C low, like that would just be a perfect, because then it'd be just a perfect expanding triangle. But they might have just cut that E wave short, which tells me then that they've got one more up. But that five-wave move I then think was the A wave, then triangle for the B wave, and then they'll come up for the C wave. But I think that this is all just correction, and then there's still going to be one more down. And then there'll be like a WXY, and then this will all be X, and then they'll come down one more time for the Y wave. But we'll have to see the reaction when they come up and break 174.54. But I think this is all just correction. There's one more drop, which would line up with kind of what I think the indexes are going to do. Like they're going to be correcting a little bit up, and then they got one more drop to complete the fourth wave, like in the Nasdaq. So AMD, that would make sense that they kind of come up, but then they fall one more time, and then it'd be ready to go up to break its 227 high. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see the reaction up there. But so for short-term traders, if there's a little bit of a pullback early next week, you can play for that move. You just got to be careful when it breaks that high, because it could be coming all the way down before it goes. Okay, let's go on to Google. Google, yeah, Google's a little hard to read this this fifth wave. It looks like we've got 3 waves up, and it could be the fifth wave is done, and so I'm expecting a much bigger correction for Google. The other pattern is that this was like a 3 wave, and that's 1, and this is 2, and then 1, 2. That was like a 3, and then all of this is going to be like a 4. So you're going to have like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they're going up one more time for the fifth wave. You know, like this is all going to be an ending diagonal. So Google might have one more up if this is just all really hard to read. So I'm not sure that the 5 is done over there. It might be that they've got one more break of the high, and then there's going to be this bigger correction happening. So yeah, I think for Google, it's one of those you got to already be in it, because if you're buying here, just that, you know, once they break this 178, that's going to end that move, and then there's this bigger correction going to happen. So you know, not unless they come back down one more time, then maybe you can look for a buy here, because there could be something bigger coming. So I think if you're in, you just stay in, and then once they break 178, you just got to decide how you want to handle that. All right, moving on. Let's look at NVIDIA. All right, so NVIDIA obviously just keeps going up. Go out to a 2-hour here. It looks like they might be extending this fifth wave. So all the way back here, last October, I see 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And as I've been saying, I think this little thing here is just a 1, 2, 3 wave move. So we're in the fifth wave. And I think this is just a 3-wave move, because this is a 3-wave move, A, B, C. And so they could be making an ending diagonal here for the fifth wave. The only problem, usually you don't, like, here's the correction for the first wave. Look how big this correction was for the second wave. That just kind of, I don't know. To me, it's just a little odd. But so far it's matching up, and the targets are getting hit. So I think we're in the fifth wave, and they're doing an ending diagonal. So this was 1, ABC down for 2, and you had, you know, AB exploding C wave for 3. And so I'd like to see them come down into this range, 1,004. You know, it could go down to 957 or 909, and you know, so 1, 2, 3, you know, give you that kind of look for 4, and then go up for 5, and, you know, and give you a contracting ending diagonal. So, you know, if you're not in NVIDIA, I would not be buying here, you know, because you're just not, yeah, you're not playing for a whole lot. I'd rather see like somewhere, even if they go up and break, then I think this is still all the third wave. I'd be waiting for a bigger pullback for the 4. And right now, if that 1158 is 3, 4 should be coming down at least to 1,000. And then you can play for the fifth wave. But yeah, buying here, that wouldn't be the fourth wave. That would just be really contracting, because then that fifth wave would probably be really small anyway, and you wouldn't want to play for that. So I think NVIDIA, you can get it cheaper than where it is right now, and that should be the fourth wave, and then you'd be able to play for that final push up. All right, Tesla just been going sideways, really not liking this price action here. I still think that they have to go and break this, because this was just vertical. I mean, you know, like I said, that's the only correction. That little thing right there. can't imagine that that's all going to be correction and then it's coming down. I think this is all correction. And the way it looks is that they might be coming down one more time before they go up at least near 198, if not break it. Because when we drill in, so far all we have is just a perfect ABC. But then going up, it looks like it's actually, this is getting really, I think this is 5 waves up and then 3 waves down. But then I see this as being 3 waves. And so then I was thinking when they came down here, well, okay, this could be a running flat. That was the A, this is the B, came down for the C, and now they should be taking off. And all they did is they went up and then they just barely broke it. So now that's a 3-wave move. So they might be in the process of making like some kind of triangle here. Like that was A, this is B, this is C. Here's a 3-wave move for the D. Actually, then this could be, actually, they could have cut this short too. That could be the E. Yeah, that's an ugly looking triangle. But it's just a sideways, ugly thing. So I'd still think that they're going to go up. So I'd only be looking for the buy setup. It's just not clear what this pattern is. Like, I don't know if this is the low yet, 167. Like, I could see them somehow that this is a 3-wave correction. So like an ABC, I don't know what this would be actually. It almost be like a WXY. And then this was 3 waves. Maybe this is 3 waves, and now they're starting, I don't know, maybe some kind of diagonal or something. One more trip down. So, this one's a little tricky to play. I think you might be able to get it at least underneath all of this stuff, underneath this 173. And you might be able to even get it 167. But I'd only be looking for a buy setup to go and break that high. And right now, I think I'd leave this one alone and just see if you can get it lower. Even though I think it's going up, this is just so sideways, so ugly that I feel like this is all just correction. And then they might have one more down, which is kind of what I see in the market anyway. You know, like when the 4th wave completes for the Nasdaq, maybe this sells off. And then when the market goes up for their 5th wave, then Tesla is going to join the party and go up one more time. But yeah, I don't like this price action. I wouldn't be a buyer here because I just feel like there's one more down. Okay, and ZScaler, adding this one because this one looks really interesting. So actually, I go out to a daily. We had this 5-wave move from way back, like, I mean, going years, well, the whole life of ZScaler, going back to 2018, 5-wave move. So that's really nice. And then you had this really big correction. Happened starting in 21. Had a nice WXY correction. And so far, all I see is just a 3-wave move up to the February high. Not the all-time high, the February high. So we have 3 down, and then we have 3 up. So there is a possibility that this WXY, like that's the A wave, and then this 3-wave move is the B wave, and then they're going to come all the way back down for like a C wave, and then they'll be going up, and you know that'd be a really big correction. But this correction right here was very big, time consuming, and very deep. So I feel like that's all the correction. And so if they're going to go up and break the high, then most likely they're going up in a diagonal. And that 1, 2, 3, that is 1. And they've come into this place where buyers should be stepping in. And obviously, had earnings, and had great earnings, and then just like the whole market, they sold off for most of the day on Friday. So far, coming down, there's three waves. 1, 2, 3. And then there was like if you look at a smaller time frame, there's a 3-wave move there. And then you had this 3-wave move down. So we got 3 waves down. So if they come and break this again, then I'm going to see 5 waves. So 1, 2, 3, earnings blasted off for the 4, and then this would be 5. And then you could play it a couple ways. I mean, if you're a short-term trader, let them break 155 again. You have 5 ways, and then you can play for some kind of a bounce. But you got to know that it's most likely going to be coming down again. Or this 3-wave move, that was 1. This is 3 waves so far, so that could be 2, and it's in the perfect zone where the 2 should happen. Had good earnings, this knocked it out of the park, and this could be 1, and now they're correcting for 2, and then either going up for a 3, 4, and a 5, or diagonal or something. But anyway, I think this stock looks really good, because if you're buying here, even if they go and break the low, that'll be just the 5th wave. And there should be at least a correction. So even if you buy and they break 155, at some, they could go down into the 40s. But then there should be, this whole thing is going to need a correction if they're going to, still go down again. So, yeah, I feel really good about this stock. Like even buying here, put on a small position. And even if they go down low, it should be able to come back to you, and then you make a decision if you're going to hold it for a long time or just let them make a correction, and then you'll be able to buy it, somewhere in the 40s. You could sell for small profit, and knowing that probably can sell it and get it even cheaper then. So yeah, I feel like this is like a really good setup, really good risk to reward. Because one more break will be the 5th wave, and then you kind of know what should be coming. But there is the possibility that 155 is the low. It's 3 waves, and that's what we're looking for in the 2nd wave because of a diagonal. And then it should be going up for the 3rd wave. But like I said, there is a possibility that they come and break it one more time. But should be able to get off for a small profit on that trade. So ZScaler is something to watch. All right, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your likes and support. See you in the next video.